Hi guys, how everybody? Hello. Trying to set myself up here. Let me turn off this, put it down, down to see everybody. Good morning, guys. How are you? Where are you from? Just give me some information. Hi Doug, how are you? Thanks Tarot, Pleiadian Tarot. I'd appreciate the help. Hi my turquoise. Hi Lottie, how is everybody? Hi Sally. There's Mitch again. How is the weather over there? I think we have finally a spring. I don't know, do you guys know that we actually had a snowstorm? Which was like so bad that my ceiling was leaking. New Jersey. So we have the East Coast. Wow, we have Puerto Rico. Oh my gosh, Lottie, did you guys all lose the electricity over there? Like that's what I saw in the news. Obviously, you're somehow connecting right now. Germany. Hi, Ella. Guten Tag. India. Wow, Lottie. For 5 months. I know, I saw that. Gemini. Okay, Lars, hey, how are you? Pisces. North Atlantic Ocean. Oh my gosh. You got the storm before us? Oh my gosh, that was like unbelievable. It was cold, it was snowing. I was on a chat with my brother who is in Europe, and I said, you have to see this. And I turn on the camera and I'm showing him snow. He goes, no, you have to see this. He's turning his camera, showing me all this like spring flowers and everything. So it was kind of like fun. All right. So Taurus. Tarot, Pleiadian Tarot, you're amazing. I should get a reading with you. You're reading my thoughts. This is unbelievable. I was just thinking, Taurus. Unbelievable. So who was the first last time? I think it was Earth last time. So who is first this time around, guys? Which element? I'm using Gilded Tarot. Cat Lady expressed likings for this deck. Hopefully see her later here. So I'm using that basically to just demonstrate the entire deck. Fire. There we go. We have air and we have fire. Now give me the element, guys. Voting system. Water. Now I have like 4 different ones. Well, water was last time. So fire. We have like 2 water, we have 2 fire, we have 2 air. You know what? Executive decision. I'll do water. And you know why? Because the last time they were last. So let's see what is in water. This is like we are finishing. And by the way, happy birthdays to all the Tauruses. Like this is now your season, and this is season for everybody because we are entering into something that maybe is going to be slower. In Canada, we still have tax season until the end of the month. I still haven't done mine, and Taurus is sort of like going to bring us harvest, if you really think. There is like, and I think Matrix is Taurus. The more I look at him, the more he reminds me of that Chicago kind of like bull. Like he has this like strong shoulders, right? And is this my camera zoomed in? Let me just check for a second. And I apologize for everybody on a false start. My camera was open, so hence didn't connect to the streaming software. No, it doesn't. It just looks okay. It's weird. Okay. So we will see. Earth. I'm going to use runes today. I think I will. It might be a little bit longer reading, and I hope you will have some time also to ask me questions. Okay. Oh yeah, before I go forward, guys, the first group started, and I am so excited. Like, I mean, I have in a first class a test where I am checking what kind of intuitive people are and what their abilities are. And I got all these like priests and priestesses, and I'm not talking about Catholic Church or something like that, like literally people who have been chosen to actually guide other people to do this stuff. It was like, oh my God, it was just amazing. So school, the next round is May 15th. So the first group is on Monday. The second group will be rolling on Tuesdays. And now it's actually really clear that it's going to be minimum of 11 lessons, because initially I thought 10. So Earth, 4 of Cups is coming reversed. What is going on here? Like maybe you're not feeling something is a good fit. Maybe something is a little bit off. This can be also a card of being kind of like disgusted with something, etc., etc. So let's see, Earth. And also, look, Earth is getting like Cups and Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles I really like as a card. And I don't think that many readers can really interpret this card very well. Pleiadian Tarot, what would you say? What would you say? And I'm putting you on the spot. And just, I will tell you probably first of all my interpretation, and then maybe you want to add your 2 cents. I'm always seeing this as growth. In this particular deck, we already see the tree. Generally, I'm thinking, okay, this is not bearing fruit as much as we want to, but oh my gosh, we are doing water. What's going on? Why did I go on Earth? So this is probably for Earth that I was shifted on that. So Earth, you are trying to figure out if you're on the right path or if you want to continue, and I think you will. Okay, so water. Thank you. Thank you very much. Water. I guess because we are in Taurus season, I really got a very strong vibe. How many Earth people do we have here that I got so much? Okay, water. Water from the 21st to 27th. Ooh, let me invite these people from Facebook. I keep forgetting to do that. And let's see if somebody shows up. There we go. Post to Facebook. I don't know if I can post to the other stuff. There's giving me a whole bunch of stuff here. No, I'm not logging anywhere. It's like I have so many passwords that is unbelievable. So water. Sorry, creative guru. Earth is going to be there, so obviously Earth is coming through. Water. What messages are there for water? What messages are there? Whoa. Whoa. 8 of Cups, 10 of Swords, Queen of Swords. I think it was reversed. King of Pentacles, Page of Cups, 6 of Pentacles. Boy, you have like 3 by 3. 7 of Swords, Ace of Cups reversed, and 7 of Wands. Where is my little orange pen? This is kind of tough, guys. I do have to say, what is water doing? Like, I mean, Page of Cups being central, because it sort of like gave me the formation of the reading. Let me just put it more this way so you can see it. Page of Cups talk about kind of like romantic approach to something. There has been something from the past, or will be something from the past, that sort of like makes no sense anymore. Something, you keep coming back to something. This could be a literal person because of King of Pentacles. It could be somebody who is definitely unavailable, and there is like reaching that closure about this person. Why they're unavailable? For several reasons. One, they didn't really grow like to that level. Hi, Cat Lady. I was just saying, Cat Lady, that this is homage to you because you said that you like gilded, so we are using gilded today. So King of Pentacles reversed also could be somebody married, or somebody who is just flashing money. Somebody who thinks that money is all that matters, right? It is like the worst from Earth sign kind of a thing, right? Also, it could mean a Taurus on a really, really bad day. But now it's kind of, to me, interesting that I have 2 sevens over here. The sevens are a very spiritual journey. With that journey, kind of, it's kind of weird. You really maybe have 2 people. I definitely see that you're cutting one person off. You are literally minimizing either a contact, or you just don't want anything to do with a person who has caused you turmoil. And with somebody you really were coming back, and I can see it here looking over your shoulder. It looks like somebody was causing lots of this is betrayal. It kind of looks like the more you like peeling that onion, the more crap you're seeing. You know, sometimes people just disappoint you so badly that you're shocked, but for them the only way is up. And for the other people, they start from a pedestal, and guess what? The only way is down. So sort of like I see both in this particular reading. So that cannot be the same person. You cannot go up the stairs and down the stairs at the same time. But certain things, and I think this is like a huge level of maturity when 6 of Pentacles come up. It's kind of like division, kind of like what is kind of normal over here. What can I give? Sometimes some people give too much. When we give too much, this means that we are not sure who we are. And then everything. Here's my shirt off my back. And then we are proud. But guess what? It's much easier to give than to take. And some people understand that, and they just grab as much as they can. So this is kind of interesting, guys, because you will be really debating that equality, debating the balance in your life, debating what is a go, what isn't a go, what caused you want to fight, what caused you don't want to fight. So let me just check a few cards over here. Actually, I should have taken this one, and I don't even remember what. I think this is what it was. So, old woman and a soldier. So, you know, sometimes we are just getting too comfortable in a situation. I have been there. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, you know what? It's such a nice day. I really shouldn't exercise. Or yeah, well, he's going to change. Or you know what? It's fine tomorrow, kind of a thing. And things start to accumulate and get bigger. You see this? You see this kind of like similarities. This guy is defending himself, and this guy is having his little bayonet over here. So we are guarding. We are like, and that's very much Taurus, that big bull. And I know it's water, Palladian Tarot, but it obviously has a flavor, because I think for us it's going to be really interesting that you water signs will be leaving the comfort of yours. Like, I think you're on the brink. You're almost like wondering, left door, right door, blue pill, red pill. Do I continue through discomforts, or do I stay guarded, right? Because a part of you saying, no, I am moving. Another part is saying, no, I'm staying. So let me see. I want to see this Ace of Cups and the Ten of Swords, because it definitely tells me somebody creeping up from the past. Whether actually, and I think it is actually, because Page of Cups says somebody's coming with a love offer. That love offer can be sort of, you know, hey, how are you doing? Kind of like fishing around, right? But that love offer can be like really direct. Hey, you know what? Would like to get together. So we'll see. Let's see this Ace of Cups. It sounds like that somebody might be coming back, but to you, that's all you wanted. You have consolation card, and this is telling me almost like you just like wanted to kind of like see that, but you're just not interested. So I think you're going to reject it. It's going to come. And you are actually, it's willing to come. It's almost like just to tell you F you. Kind of like, gee, thanks, but hey, I'm so happy. Because look at what you see in this card. We're seeing angels showing up, and it see the distance. We are not looking things that are not close to us. So we are looking just the immediate, and power and money. It's like all of a sudden appearing out of nowhere. So you water signs will be almost like recharging right now. So this is really good, given that like we also have 3 cups, which kind of is important. So I want to see this like 10 of swords. Ten of swords. Ooh, I grabbed a 2. There we go. We have, look at this, repetition. Can you see this thief and that somebody sneaking away, betraying? We see this, and kind of something happened. This could either be cheating or somebody just like violating that line in the sand, and somebody just completely feeling like an elephant in a china shop and not really caring about your feelings. And I think left some of you, and I don't know why the Pisces keeps coming to me, left some of you really, I guess, depressed or not being willing or capable to deal with this. But I think in this period you're going to get your aha moment, because that's what this means, right? This kind of means you finally get it. This is what it is. You know, like when the fog kind of like, not actually, that kind of came here. The fog kind of like clears and looks at, oh my gosh, this is a bus. You thought it was a castle. Sort of like complete clarity comes to play. So what you're going to do next, let's check the individual signs. So water, which one is first? Cancer. Cancer, give me the Cancer for this week. Cancer. Cancer. 5 of Pentacles reversed. Give me the Scorpio for this. No, we're not going to have, this one really stubbornly wants to stay. The Emperor. And Pisces. Give me Pisces for this week. 6 of Wands. But I am doing this as well. Okay, so what is this? Wants to look at us. We are like getting repetition. Guys, be very careful. Somebody might want, there is like somebody who is going to flash money, maybe shower you with gifts, maybe shower you with how important they are, but they're doing that for some kind of like sinister reasons, right? So let's see. Cancer, Scorpio, okay, and Pisces. One, this one, you know, little bow tie. The rune of authority, which is kind of interesting because we have the Emperor here, and this, by the way, is a rune of water, right? So I put it sideways because runes are also read upright and reversed. So let's start over here with Attila. So first of all, Cancer, 5 of Pentacles. Are you maybe this kind of like has really interesting kind of connotation, and it's going to be kind of interesting for my students, but I'm going to give you just a little bit of this. Even though this card generally means being left in a cold, like, right? Obviously the 2 people are somehow struggling and they're there by themselves, for themselves. When this is reversed, generally is being said, okay, you are somehow leaving a situation that is no longer there. But to me also this is because it's Earth, basically element, talks about it's a dry period sexually. Sorry, I had to mention this. Okay, so thank you, Dean. But this is the rune of authority, irresponsibility. not irresponsibility, responsibility. And this is talking about the loyalty, respect, and identity over here. So I think it's very present when we are talking about these dynastic concerns. That's what I'm saying. Probably Cancers could be linked to Scorpio, but there is like a very similar energy, right? Because tradition is going to become very important in life in this particular periods. Engagements, marriages, births. You might simply just kind of go around and say, hey, how long have you been married? Well, good for you. How old is this baby? Sort of like you're going to find yourself asking kind of like those questions, right? And it's going to be communication with ancestors and relatives. So talking about this old lady, this also could mean taking advice from older people and people like me, like professionals who kind of like deal with kind of like advice kind of giving, right? So this is going to be really about a week, right? But this also Attila relates to Hierophant, so sort of like can talk about religion and law, and it's very, very connected to your identity, right? So that's kind of like really, really important over here. So now the Emperor. When the Emperor shows up, it means that you're trying to establish some kind of control in your life. Obviously, it's showing up as something that is kind of calling upon. And it is a major arcana. And the major arcana always says, you must do this, right? Because I guess you didn't have majors over here at all. So it's going to be kind of generally easy breezy week for people, for most water signs except Scorpios. And especially because this is now merging with Laguz. And it is almost contradictory, right? Because the Emperor is very logical. It's kind of like masculine us. You know how we have this yin and yang, and the little white swirl has the little black dot in it, and vice versa, right? So if you are a woman, it's telling you you need to kind of like man up a little bit. If you're a man, it's asking you kind of like to stay strong. And the Emperor is always about kind of like lay of the land, kind of like seeing the situation from the above, ruling different edges and how to kind of like protect. So kind of like Cancer, it's not so much just your family, but the Emperor literally can mean the kingdom, can mean sort of like your, let's call it, family you're controlling. But this is talking about harmony and affection and safety in kind of like in the arms of the loved ones. So maybe you're going to be very protective of the people you care for, because this is the rune of water, right? And because this is Anglo-Saxon kind of like runes, right? It is kind of like talking about those sea and fjords and inlets and harbors, right? So this is kind of known as a rune of love, and this is really a good sign if kind of like in this week you kind of want to attend something about your love life and questions of the heart. So this actually could mean kind of stabilizing your relationship. You know, like we kind of go through these stages in relationships where we really don't know what this is all about. We don't know if you're safe. We don't know, you know, if this person likes us. At this stage, I think it's talking about, yeah, you know, we're getting there. But this is also asking for patience, which I think Scorpio has in abundance, right? And be also careful that sometimes before this happens, you might find yourself in some kind of like emotional void, right? And when almost like nothing seems to be going on and others seem to be kind of like going forward. But keep in mind that you're a water sign. Water doesn't have to move fast. Sometimes moves slow, but doesn't mean that it's like not really powerful, right? Because this again is saying about this patient, just be patient. Things are blowing in your direction, right? And lastly, let's see the Pisces. Pisces are talking about Wands. This is some kind of like feeling victorious, feeling very successful, feeling, yay, I am kind of like going forward. But then again, very, very phallic, as you can see over here. So do I have any other sixes? Yeah, we do have 2 sixes. So I think if you guys are into dating, you kind of like would be having some kind of like hot times, or you'll be finding few partners that kind of like would be really sort of like a close fit, and you'll be kind of exploring the possibilities. And this is a rune of the sun. It's one of the better runes, right? And it is associated with laughter, kind of fun, good times. And I think this old set of circumstances, as kind of like I saw it before, was really speaking specifically about Pisces, because it looks like that's it. You're finally shutting this book down. This also, guys, can talk about travel. So if some of you are planning, that's kind of like a really auspicious, right? And this rune doesn't have inverted meaning. So good for you. So who is next? Which group are we going for next? Ladies and talk to Pisces, talk to dead people. Okay, fine. That means that people are lost spirits. It's like one of those people that we show in Tarot Witch 2s when they're not walking that rainbow bridge, right? When they're sticking around and appearing as ghosts to scare other people. Okay, my turquoise, good reaction. You see how fire jumps to action? So fire it is. So let's go. Fire. Fire. Let me remove this. Runes. Fire. Thank you guys for clicking like. I really, really appreciate that. Fire. 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 And also, if you guys haven't ordered annual scopes, they're like on super duper sale right now, so it's a good time to grab them. Fire for this week. Fire. Hi Rhonda. Fire. Ace of Swords reversed, 4 of Pentacles reversed, and that's you. 9 of Wands reversed. What else do we have for fire? Thank you, my turquoise. This is so sweet. Whoa. Judgment. Fire. 8 of Wands. Well, that's good. It finally means for fire, Mercury retrograde is over. For me, I swear, I still feel I'm in Mercury retrograde. Like this computer that I'm working on right now almost died yesterday. It actually gave me the message, cannot connect. Do you have a hard drive? It's like, oh my god. So fire, what's up? So we have quite a bit of fire representation over here. We have 8 of Wands, we have 9 of Wands, and we have the Sun. So, but Ace of Swords is generally some lies. That could be self-inflicted lies, right? The Ace of Swords could be, when it's upright, card of victory. But when it comes reversed, it could be that we are getting a wrong information. So be very careful. If you really want something, this can actually be indication that you have to turn every stone. 4 of Pentacles means kind of, you see, when we are clustered like that, we are kind of like just dealing with this me attitude, and maybe somebody's guarding the secret over here, right? But it comes this way, I guess this sword is going to try to pry and open what's hiding behind this door, right? Sort of a thing. It could be you guys. It could be that there is something you are debating inside of you, and sorry, this is Knight of Wands and not the King of Wands. what you're debating. This also can talk about quick sexual encounters. So if you're dating, this may be what's happening, that somebody's telling you stories that I really want to be with you, and etc. But generally they either don't understand what this means, or they want to be with you right then, right that moment, right? So keep this in mind. So now this sounds interesting to me, because you're getting two majors. The Judgment card talks about, you know, this point in life when we have to clean the slate. So it is what it is. If somebody freezes you right now and you die in 10 minutes from now, like, what bad things have you done? What good things have you done? So good things are sort of like a default, right? But you should look into the bad things and sort of like reach clarity. Okay, I could have dealt with this situation better, and I'm going to kind of like maybe do it differently. You might even communicate, because I always say, like when I'm coaching people, look, it doesn't matter if the other party's fault is like 99%. If you have 1%, you want to open, and and you do want to open the gate of the conversation, then go and talk about where you think you went wrong, and kind of like invite them into this communication, because these could be arrows of love. This also can be travel, guys. I guess fire and water will be meeting somewhere on the island. And then we have the Sun reversed. Sun is generally a very optimistic card, but when it comes reversed, it talks about burnout. It talks about taking on too much, or some kind of like really, really high intensity. So it's going to be lots of work for fire over here. And I think this is why you are going to get a little exhausted toward the end of the week. So I actually really want to see that Sun. Yeah, ladies, yeah, be very careful about the intimacy. Maybe trying to get to that level, kind of being confused which people you want to keep close, which people are supposed to be kept aside, who is coming, who is going. That's going to be kind of very difficult, especially for Leos, because the Sun generally represents Leos, but it's actually applicable for general reading here as well. And I want to see this like Nine of Wands over here. Wow, reunion. So somebody is coming from the past, and that's possibly why the Judgment card is showing up here. So you have to reassess. Somebody's coming from the past. Look at this, and saying, no, 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 I have changed. Are they telling the truth? Or is it going to be same old, same old? Or are they going to just stay it one night and vanish all over again? That's sort of like going to be a question over here. So let me see. We are now dealing with, which one is the first one? Aries. Aries. You have the Fool reversed. Leo. Leo. You have Two of Swords. And Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Whoa, the Devil reversed. Let's check your runes, guys. So, oh, what did I do? Open here, open something. Aries. Aries. There we go, the rune of water. Aries is going to feel very amorous in this period, I have to tell you. But let's see. Leo. Ooh, look at that. That's weird. It's called weird. It's a blank rune. If that was the first rune, I would not be able to use runes anymore. And Sagittarius. Wow. This is like the rune of progress. So good things over here, guys. First of all, again, this is the rune of water, right, as I told you, and it kind of like comes to this emotional fulfillment. But just be very careful, Aries, that this kind of like might not go very far, because the Fool is a good card. Like my school people are right now working on this card, but when this is reversed, it talks about you're really falling off the cliff, right? You're jumping in with 2 feet and there is like nothing to land on. So don't make quick judgments over here. Kind of like I would be a little bit kind of like careful about this, because the Fool reversed is literally foolish. So you're going to, Aries, experience some kind of bad judgment in this time period. Let me turn off my phone, which I don't know why I haven't. There we go. You see, the Fool is basically representing God in tarot, and this is like very ungodly behavior. And be very careful with the information you're encountering, because it sounds to me you're going to be jumping and believing into something, because Aries has this energy of going forward too fast, and that might cost you this period of time. I'm really warning you. So, but at the same time, you might enjoy it, because you're going to hear lots of nice words of love, of expression, and you might kind of like feel somebody might actually sneak up to you, saying to you praises, and you will get sucked into this. That's all I will leave with this. So now we have a Leo. Leo is having a blindfold over certain things. Again, look, we had the Ace, and now we have the Two of Swords. We are here reaching a point of a decision, and Two of Swords is also linking to the Judgment, and it's something is really difficult to leave behind. Some decision is really difficult to reach, but it is almost like calling for you, because this rune weird is the rune of fate, and this is basically saying really destiny is right now working over here, right? Because if kind of like you're reaching a point in life that is completely predestined, it's almost like you really cannot do much about it. You will really, and that's maybe why this is it. Oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do? Because you approaching a period in which your free will have very little influence, because you know how I say, yeah, this is kind of like a spiritual guidance, but free will always tops it. If I tell you do not jump off the cliff, imagine me telling this to Aries and go, oh, where's the cliff, where's the cliff, right? So free will tops everything. You can always override this, but not you, Leo. And that's why this was kind of coming across to me as a Leo. And the room talks about some kind of intimacy with close people. You might feel a burnout by people who surround you with their expectations of you, right? So this is not the right time to start any projects. This is really a time where, you know, events will progress as they have been ordained. So if I have any Leos over here, it will be a really good time for them to get their karma reading, because there is that switch. You kind of like need to clean some of your karmic debris. And this brings us to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is not getting enough credit, because Saggies actually have been going through a difficult period. I don't know how many of you remember, I was like once yelling at Saggies. It's like, oh my gosh, it was like, clue it in. And to be honest, I kind of like watched this interview, James Comey interview, who is Sagittarius. I kind of like see this. And I have a lot of stuff that I have seen in my readings, I'm seeing in his interviews. Does he believe in what he's saying? Absolutely. Is he right in what he's saying? It looks like there are lots of questions and positioning, or was there like an ego driven? And this is like what I'm seeing here for you guys in this week coming up. Because the Devil reversed is talking about still being connected to the situation, possibly to somebody with X, possibly to somebody who has a hold on you, like a father of your children, mother of your children. You see, in the upper situation, this is talking about codependence. It's talking about us not really walking away from situations that are really not good for us. When this reverses, we are kind of understanding that situation we found ourselves is like not healthy at all, and we are feeling this burn, and like it's getting so loud that we are saying, you know what, this kind of has to move forward. So I can see also how this connects to you, this judgment. There is like, look, you know, I did this, but I still don't see enough of self-awareness. I still see the positioning is because Knight of Wands is Sagittarius, right? So let's talk about Eowaz, the rune of progress, right? This is talking about courage. It's talking about planning. Situations are certainly moving on. So I can see, quite contrary to Leo's, Sagittarius will be all kind of action this kind of week, and they will be manifesting a new situation, right? If some of you are inquiring about Sagittarius, about the contact, they will, because this talks about trying to cut these chains of something that connects you with the past, right? This is definitely like, I mean, for Leos, they're almost forced, but Sagittarians are going to be cutting those cords themselves, right? So this is kind of ability to adapt also to circumstances and make fast decisions, and it's kind of like optimistic rune. So I can totally see how this is coming up for Sagittarians. So Doug, good thinking. I like saying that word. Which word, please? Cap, father of my son, deliberately refusing to pay child support. Gosh. But if he didn't want a son, he could have invested in less than $1 and he would not have it. So, you know, this is kind of karmic lesson in all of it, but it is what it is. But I'm really sorry to see that, because everybody suffers in that kind of situation. Avras, okay. Avras, you're talking about the rune, like weird rune, or we were talking Iwaz, EIWAZ. Okay, so who is next? I think Doug declared air, so let's be air. Well, Lee Fitness, Doug, kind of like, Doug, you're Gemini, right? Are you Gemini? Because I could tell this like quick wit. Like, you see, Geminis were not this quick-witted like during Mercury retrograde. Air signs really suffer during Mercury retrograde. But I can see like, whoo, I am go, go, go. So let's see, air, air, air. Whoa, 10 of Swords, lovely. Actually, that's a great card. Air, I like that this card is coming out. Air, whoa, good. Air, air, air. Oh, look at Aquarius Fitness. Did something else flicked? I love this deck. I love this deck. But it kind of doesn't always give me what I need. I kind of like this sci-fi. This is my favorite genre of movies. Air. Air. Now Lati 10 of Swords is good. See, this is the thing that people freak out seeing a bad card. It's like, oh, it must be bad. This one is bad. This one is good. And I'll show you why. Oh, right, air. So what happened here? Somebody was juggling in a situation. There is a situation that is coming to an end. Whether it is an actual situation where we are involved, or it's a situation that is still lingering for quite a while. And this is not typical for, well, is it not typical for the air? It's not typical for the air to have this something lingering for a long time, but it almost like was a riddle. that couldn't be sold. And the reason why it couldn't be sold, it was like selling it in a way it shouldn't be sold. It's almost like trying to get dolphins to recite poetry and then declaring them they're stupid, right? Because they can't. So something like this was happening to air signs for quite a while. And for a while, ever since I started, I kept seeing it was like picking on a different signs. But it's coming to an end. So it was a situation that kind of like tied us in a knot, and it couldn't be handled. So how it's going to be handled right now is like, look, I cannot help what happened. I am kind of maybe carrying this burden, and I'm tired of carrying this burden. There are two tenths. There is like this new phase. Something is switching, and how much longer are we willing to carry this burden, something that is kind of like unknown to us? I just kind of love this like fawn and deer, all these animals in this particular thing. So it's talking about, you know, both situations, not paying attention to something that maybe is self-evident. And usually, you know, when I was in marketing, we always have been guided by this principle of KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And that's actually the hardest thing to do, because whenever you try to design something, whenever you try to do something, you tend to be complicated. So now when I was writing the school curriculum and school lessons, oh my gosh, I started with like, 25 pages. I said, oh gosh, this is overwhelming. And so then you start shading it to kind of like zoom to what you need. So this is kind of like that simplicity that is going to come to the fore. There is like still something or somebody in your life, or there is like still not the full balance over here, because the juggling thing, it could be something that we still need to process, whether this is somebody who is doing this or did this, or that we still cannot recover from this. But we will. It could have been the third party in the situation, but you know what, this is resolving beautifully because we are fully aware of that. And this is the beauty. You know what, the best part is like when you kind of know that certain things are going on and people blub, and like it's like almost like it happened to me once on subway, right? These two guys in front of me, sitting in front of me, are making all kinds of lewd comments about me, and they're just definitely pigs, and also uneducated pigs, and they're making them in my language, thinking that I don't understand. So I'm kind of letting this go for quite a while, and then address them in that language. You should see kind of like what kind of shock this was. It's literally like, I mean, being caught in the act, right? So it just like stopped immediately, and it was the end of that story. And something like that will be happening here. Like, we will kind of have giggles to ourselves, and like somebody will be doing stuff and we will know what they are doing, and we'll just like kind of like, you know what they say, give them a rope and let's see what they are going to do with this. And that's exactly what's going to be happening for the air signs, because we are like really coming to sort of like balance. So Taurus season, we are getting into this, okay, I cannot give indefinitely because things are getting too hard for me. I have to take care of myself, but doesn't mean that I'm not charitable, doesn't mean that I don't pay attention. So establishing this balance, give and take, it's the hardest, and it's constant. You never finish, you never come to a stop, because every new situation challenges you into something new. So let's see. Ooh, why did that jump over here? Ace of Cups and Three of Swords. This third party keeps coming here all the time. Is it possible that somebody will come through? It's possible, absolutely. For some of us, somebody will come through and say, I have changed, and this third party doesn't exist. But it doesn't matter, because what exists to us is this pain of being beaten to the ground, of being lost, losing our soul in the process. And it doesn't look like that we will shush them away. It looks like we'll say, you know what, hey, good to hear from you. And sort of like, you know what they say, best living is the best revenge. Good living is the best revenge. We are going to let them in our life without them realizing they are under the microscope. That's how it looks like. Really, Dean, that was such a long time ago? Oh my gosh, so you have been my subscriber since what, January 27th? Like, so 13 subscribers was just like first few days. So probably you were like right from the very beginning. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So one of probably the longest subscribers. Who knows if the other 12 are still the subscribers. That's awesome. Okay, now I actually want to clarify a few things before I do that. I'm going to clarify this because the High Priestess is somebody who kind of knows. She knows what's going on. She has experienced things and she has learned that lesson. That's the best part, right? So let me see this, like, Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles. Not millions of cards. And this one wants to stay. And there you go. There is the Lover coming. So no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. Yeah, sure, honey. Yes. You know. And you just like set a date for them to come, you know, somewhere at 5 o'clock in the morning and just don't show up. Kind of a thing. So let me see also the High Priestess. I am in GTA, which stands for Great Toronto Area. I'm actually in the west end of Toronto, which still goes under Toronto zip code, right next to one huge park in Huge River in Toronto. So the High Priestess is a gift. Okay, so guess what's going to happen? Somebody is going to either bring a gift, be aware of a Trojan gift. So, hey, I just want to talk. And I don't want to even say that something was wrong, but the truth is they do have their own agenda. That's kind of a story behind that. So, air. Who is the first air? Which one is the first? Gemini. So, Dog, are you still around? Dog, are you still around? High Priestess. Yes, she's like 11, and I always notice this because she's number 2. But Roman 2 is Arabic 11, right? So let me just see this. Yeah. Let me see. Gemini. Gemini. I have 2. Look at the Judgment and the 8 of Pentacles. How many of Geminis are you dealing with? Virgos or Scorpios? Who's next? Libra. Yeah. Looks like it's calling me for like super Libra. The Ace of Pentacles. And this also belongs to you. And Aquarius. I don't know, I guess it's kind of really weird what is coming out with the cards. So I don't even know if you need runes with so many cards, but here, let's try the Gemini. Does this look phallic to you? Because something is going to be happening for Geminis. Be very careful. You're not paying attention to the details, and this is the lesson. This is what we're supposed to learn. This kind of like little kind of like details in the situation. This is kind of the rune of commitment. Are you sure you want to commit to somebody who hasn't been truthful to you, who has been doing certain things to you? That somebody knew the right from wrong and they chose wrong. So you guys will be really torn in this period. So let's see, Libra in Aquarius. I think this is what military uses, mind you. Like, I mean, this is kind of like has been used prior to military, obviously by Anglo-Saxons, right? And just literally means penis. So there you go. So this is called tiwaz, and it's something about something lasting. Be very careful. This is kind of House of Cards, what I see here for Gemini. This is kind of like, obviously, you know, favoring men over women as well. So men is going to have a really dominance in this entire week. So whether you're a man, then it's going to be you if you're Gemini, or if you're dealing with somebody else and you're a female, that's what's going to be that. Now, if there are any legal disputes, you might lose, but it's actually going to end really, really well. And this week, guys, is going to be kind of lots of sex, and you kind of will be going in that direction, like feeling re-energized. Not so much sex that I'm talking about effing, right? I'm talking about that life energy. I'm talking about going forward, feeling zest for life, feeling glad that you are kind of alive, right? So here we have Libras. Libras are cutting something off. Libras kind of like feel, especially because you're getting the rune of mankind over here. But look at this. Libras are being a little bit overly ambitious, if I might say, right? Because the Ace of Pentacles means something you just don't want to go. Because Ace of Pentacles generally talks about going in a new direction, growing something long and steady. It almost looks like to me, like from these three cards, that you're allergic to Taurus season. It's just like, leave me alone. Look at him. Leave me alone. Nothing makes me happy. Just get away from me. But I think this is exactly the attitude that you're going to put to an end. You're going to feel that you're falling in a routine of feeling that way. You're falling in the routine of nothing makes me happy. I cannot build any prospects. I cannot build anything, because this card I really don't like in this deck. Because look at him, he's so happy, just like waiting things to basically happen to him. You're really saying that something or somebody, especially because we got a gift, now you're observing things and thinking like, what? You thought you're the God's gift to women? No freaking way. Off you go. Because look at this is just like your sign 11, Judgment, kind of cutting it off, really cutting it off. So let's talk about Manas, the room of mankind, right? Because this is obviously going to be right up your alley, because this is talking about thinking before, you know, doing, and it is reversed. So this is kind of like ominous rune, and it's talking about enemy is near. You guys might really be contacted, because I can see that here, the X, the flavor of X, somebody who was dealing with other people or other issues, other things were priorities to them, which kind of caused this like huge pain. But now they're coming back to offer something. Or you're coming to a complete closure. No way. Now I know really what to look for, right? This is kind of talking about somebody wanting to avoid confrontation, but it's definitely asking for courage to be exhibited, right? So I would say, Libra, this is going to be a week to stop avoidance and to kind of like build up your confidence and arm yourself with basically arguments to defeat basically your foe when he or she makes his move. Sort of like somebody is going to come with that Trojan horse and you already know what the heck is going on. And Libra, you're cutting it off. So this is the issue that people don't understand with Libra, that Libras look very sweet and everything like Pisces, but they're not Pisces, they're actually air sign. So basically they will cut you off if you wrong them, because they have this inborn sense of justice, and it's like UMF person, not to kind of say the whole world. So let's see, Aquarians. Oh boy, we kind of like are facing some kind of music. We're kind of being stubborn, but of course we have fixed signs. But look at this, boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. We're establishing the boundaries, but we don't know what the hell these boundaries are, because the moon is showing up and saying, Okay, so, you know, what do you listen? Do you listen to yourself? Are you sure what you're doing? But again, the devil is coming reversed, which is good. It's almost like waking up. And I think the moon says that we are still not fully awake. We are still dealing with sort of like that phantasmagoric kind of like visions. This also can talk about dreams, guys, and definitely subconscious. Aquarians don't like to be ruled. Aquarius is a sign number 11. So what is 11? 1 and 1. It's not only basically a leader like 1, but leader of the leaders. But also 1 and 1 is 2, which talks about, yeah, I don't want to lead if I cannot cooperate with people, right? Because it has to be a sense of, it's not the leading because I want to kind of like be arrogant. Like, right, Aries has this attitude, I know it all. But when you get to this point, you're like really not pushing things on the others, well, at least the advanced Aquarians, the others, and sort of like just basically giving people tools. And this is coming with Berkana. It's a rune of birth. And I think this is shedding the old karma, because the devil is talking about is cutting these cords and something being stuck. I really think the reading kind of really connects to Aquarius, because Berkana can have inverted meaning. So the fact that it's kind of like upright, it's arrival of something new, including kind of baby for the people, but it's new beginning. And I can totally see that possibly coming out of this dark, asserting ourselves, right? New project that is going to go, body health improving, right? It also relates to female issues and reproductive cycle, obviously, right? And if somebody really wants to get pregnant and having issues, this is really, really good omen, right? This is a really good combination. It says that Aquarians are ready to recognize which relationships are good and which relationships are not so good, right? And it's talking about learning how to approach those emotions. The very much that my little speech was, how do you actually really go through the cycle that has been lingering and the riddle couldn't be solved? It's not solved yet, but it's kind of like very, very close, because look at this, we have 5, 6, and 7, and it's almost coming to this kind of like culmination. So which one was it? Here the man was leading, and here the females are the ones that are taking a central role. So that's kind of going to be really interesting. And Libra, of course, is balancing in between the two. So that's much about the air. And who is the last? The earth, the birthday people, because the birthday is in their element. Okay, sorry, all the Taurus talk. Okay, I don't know. I missed it. I was reading Earth element. Yes. Love your hands. Scatter. Oh my gosh. Thank you, guys. I just don't like my hands. And I heard that comment before. And I don't know, what the hell are you seeing? Do you guys need to check a doctor? I even ordered that paraffin wax, because I so much didn't like my hands. Okay. Earth. I'm just shuffling, my way of shuffling cards. Oh, thanks, Lottie. Okay, so Earth. Happy birthday to Taurus again. Sandy, you are just joining exactly in time. All right, Earth, for this week. You have your glasses on. That's very sweet of you. Okay. Earth for the week of 21st to the 27th. Earth for 21st to 27th. Earth 21st to 27th. Earth 20. No, not a zillion of cards. So what do we have here? We have the Knight of Wands and we have Queen of Wands. The Earth is going to hook up. Good lordy. Earth. Earth. This one wants to come out. Earth. Look at that. We have fire. We have air. We have cups. We have 8 of Pentacles. That definitely always when I see that I see Virgo. See, this one wanted to come out. It came out again. Okay. Earth. I have people. I have people. It's going to be a really busy period for you. See, Knight of Wands and Queen of Wands kind of naturally create a couple. And sort of like they're on the same wavelength. It's definitely a dating situation. It's something that is kind of being refreshing. It's a go, go, go. You're kind of increasing your vibrations in the situation. Eight of Cups is talking about, well, generally, it's a meaning of kind of like walking away from a situation, but with intention of trying to see if you already have what you have, or, you know, if there is something else that you still haven't explored. And it is kind of like realization of something that you need emotionally. And given that they're like 2 8s, and the 8 of Pentacles is really talking about attention to the detail, which kind of like is not placed. So I would just say with Earth, be very careful if you sort of like, you know, what was this, Maria Antoinette, who said, give them the cake, sort of like people don't have a bread. Kind of like understanding that, you know, where is that edge of happiness? Because this person is saying there is like no edge, there is no limit, but there is. Because that edge of happiness continuously changes with how we develop, how we kind of like bring our motivation to it. There is something you don't want to hear. There is something you don't want to see. There is something that, who was this that had this 2 of, just trying to remember, was that the water? I think we had in the water somebody. 2 of Swords is talking about this indecision where 2 difficult options are presented and none of them is satisfactory, and both of them are really difficult because they have to exclude the possibility of changing your mind. And maybe that's why some of you will be just saying, you know what, I'm walking away from both. There is like this seeking the truth of the matter, seeking this core of who I am. This is kind of really interesting because you guys are raising all your energies. Like the Earth is almost like stagnant, but kind of like that does make sense because you, Taurus has this like birthday month right now that I'm doing. Again, it's talking about the juggling situation. Some of you may be with somebody who is either long distance, or that there is like some distance in between the partners that has been kind of like done. And again, the 5 of Pentacles is in this deck a little bit different because you can see the mother and a child with somebody kind of like almost giving them thanks for who they are. Here we don't see the scene of them being in the snow. We don't see them kind of like being lost. In fact, it could be argued that they are in the church, they are getting this light. So reversed combined with this card is telling me that you kind of guys want to reach some kind of clarity in the situation, but like, I mean, you are not going to reach it, because not in this week, because you have this indecision over that. There is definitely wanting to go in a new direction. There's like definitely setting a new path. The Fool is like, oh my gosh, let's explore all these options. And again, is like, be very careful if you're starting a new cycle before learning the lessons of the previous cycle. But I think you are careful. I think you are realizing that you have to get to the bottom of certain issues and then go with that. So there are like lots of confirmations over here that I need to do. So There you go. Two of Swords. To me, knowing the right decision is not the right thing for you. Yeah, I guess it can be seen that way. But twos go back to the High Priestess and to the Judgment. So it's always talking about kind of like that battle between wrong and right, right? And it could be, yeah, you are like, you have to take a blindfold. And you're right, it can be seen this way. That some people just don't want to do things, even though they should know, like what has to be done. Okay, so let's see here. So let's see this Two of Swords, really. What's hiding behind that door? Two of Swords for Earth. Holy smoke. Look. There was like this disloyalty. Somebody kind of like, again, somebody might be coming back. And I think that's what it is. The Knight of Swords. The Knights have that thing. They're coming and they're not staying. And look at this. You're kind of like wondering if this is going to bring you fortune or misfortune, or that melancholy as the next card. But there is like this baby in conversation. So it could be an ex-partner with whom you have literally a child. It could be that something kind of started in the past, and that could happen with especially Mercury retrograde relationships. You start them there and then they fizz away, right? And they might come back, or maybe they have left something behind, like a baby, that they will have to kind of come back to kind of like have this conversation about this. Yeah, I can see the difficult decision is to be reached, right? So that can actually literally relate to that. And I want to see this Five of Pentacles. Where is it? Again, melancholy. Pardon me, melody. So that will kind of like be more along that being left out in the cold. But I think it's also coming out of the situation that could have been sort of like paralyzing, I would say. Let me get one more. Yeah, thought. I think it's enough thinking. It's enough obsessing about the situation over here. That is very, very clear. And let's see about this dude over here. Why is this Two of Pentacles person over here? Yeah, somebody is a lover boy, a lover girl. Hey, hi, Barbie. Hello. Let's get one more. Yeah, look at that. Juggling, pleasure seekers. Somebody is saying it's love and they don't know what the hell the love is. So earth signs, be very careful. You'll have to know that you're dealing with somebody who, as I said before, doesn't really know what they're doing, or if they're doing this purposely, that's even worse. Well, actually, no, I think it's worse if they're not doing it purposely, because if you're doing it purposely, you're already getting that level of awareness that you're like messing it up, and then you can correct it. If you're not doing this purposely, then forget it. So thanks, Lati, for joining us, and I really hope you guys in Puerto Rico recover. This is just horrible what's going on over there. All the best. Talk to you soon. I want to see this Eight of Pentacles. You see the death, the reversed death. There is like some level of suffering for some of you, and looks like that something has been overlooked, and you're kind of realizing something, and maybe even feeling guilty over this, or maybe kind of realizing what's going on, like maybe somebody's having too much fun, because the Fool is always a person who kind of wants to go solo. This is not a coupling. It is not a new beginning. This is definitely still a very inception stage, right? Because would you like to have a new beginning like this with somebody who is like not even able to stay solidly? You know who is a new beginning? The Empress. That's the new beginning. So let me see. Birthday people. Tauruses. 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 Let's see. Taurus. Taurus. Wow. Ten of Swords. Who's next? Virgo. Virgo. No, not million cards, just one or two. There we go, Virgo got few. There we go, Virgo. You're having somebody playing the games, pretending that you don't know what's going on. Here you have the Judge, Justice reverse. Something karmic happening for you, Virgo. And Capricorn. Okay. Let me... Taurus. Righto. Virgo. And Capricorn. Wow, Earth, what the heck is going on here? So I'm getting the messages that maybe you're going to be a little bit self-indulgent, and that usually happens because you're going through Taurus kind of thing. So you see, this is the rune of time, and right, Taurus is kind of like very interesting sign because it's one of the fixed signs, and it's the only basically fixed earth sign as well. And this is something that is slowly kind of like ramping up to get somewhere. So there is like this sense of lack of optimism, I would say, that I can see here in Taurus. And actually I need to clarify this because when it's on its own, it kind of, it's hard to define. Taurus. Yeah, it is about, you have the enemy and you have joyfulness. It is about the ex. It is about somebody who maybe had too much fun, about somebody who maybe has been hurtful, either toward you or you toward them. And there is like their experience in a situation. But I think you're getting out of the situation. The enemy was reversed. So sort of like certain things are fading away, because when Rido kind of comes up, it talks about time and the rotation of heavens. It's almost like a wheel of fortune, kind of a rune, right? It's meaning literally riding, right? So be very careful if you're traveling. It kind of like usually tells you maybe journey is not worth the effort, right? And that's why it's sometimes warning about car problems or just generally in trouble, right? But this is talking about the deeper issues, and what can be deeper than 10 freaking swords in your back, right? And this is talking about some kind of disruption. And I think you're going to start your week this way, but I think your week is going to actually end quite well. And probably it kind of would make sense because you'll be preparing probably for your birthday celebrations, right? Because I think you'll be dealing with some kind of short-term problems, but you're going to kind of like be a little bit delayed with maybe complex circumstances, but in the end your actions will be justified. So just keep going. So that stubbornness here, that you're going to think, oh my gosh, am I me against the whole world? You're going to actually realize that it's going to be a good thing in the end. So for you, this kind of definitely talks about the shift into something else. It almost like really feels for you that you're in Mercury retrograde over here, right? So Virgo, you got a whole bunch, and you got this kind of like reinforcement over here of the Two of Pentacles. Now it's reversed. So these two cards, like all cards, are talking about not feeling in a great situation. I've seen it here. Whenever I see this card, I'm thinking about this card as Virgo. Virgo kind of losing a grip for some reason. And you kind of like are devastated over something that didn't pan out. I think you're devastated because you're feeling injustice, that something is happening in a situation, and maybe you're taking basically justice in your own hands. And this is always a warning when it comes kind of like to this card of karma, one of my four, right? Because there is this kind of like merchant scale asking for this balance. So when the balance is not there, we all kind of react. But this is literally almost like a karmic test, right? So when this shows up, it's saying, you almost tested not to do anything. You tested to see how you're going to simply kind of like do the situation. And it's asking you not to avoid the problems, but also not to yell and scream and sort of like give somebody third degree. And then you also have Kaunas, pardon me, which is the rune of passion and of insight, right? And it is connected to light. So you see, it is telling you, just don't do anything, just observe. Let's see if you guys can even see this, right? And it's talking about, it could be sudden insight. And this is what happens when you sort of like beat karma. This is giving you ability to resolve some of that garbage that we kind of like bring here to resolve, and it's testing you, right? So this is clarity of vision, and kind of like leads you maybe toward a deeper understanding of your life, of your role and your aims, right? And this kind of literally means flame, right? So it's igniting of passion. Because I see that here, you kind of like want to do it, but I think your passion is misplaced with somebody who possibly doesn't deserve this, right? And this is talking about kind of like setting a stage for who is your ideal partner, right? But sometimes like there is like a mix-up between the real person and an ideal, and sometimes we get disappointed. But I have to tell you that something here goes beyond physical intensity. It can talk about a beginning of an intense love affair that is not going to end well. So, but this is something that will really, really teach you about yourself. Absolutely. And I have to tell you, there is somebody else. I think you're entering the situation as you being the third person, and that probably could be the lesson that is going to be there. But you kind of, there is a sense with this that everything is progressing as it should, and the destiny is kind of like taking place. So hence, you shouldn't be taking the destiny in your own hands, right? So lastly, the very last but not the least, is the Capricorns. So Capricorns, you had easy sailing for quite a while, right? And so this is kind of like going to be that Earth period over here, where you're kind of like dealing with Nine of Cups reversed, which to me is this dude saying, I'm so happy and I don't need anybody, I don't need anything. It's already clear, which is kind of like almost contradictory that he has all these cups. You see here, you were walking away to find, hey, is there something better out there? And then you said, I found it, and I don't need anybody or anything in this situation. And it's kind of like really, really weird, because when it's reversed, like maybe you're just trying to signal this to the other people, where that maybe in reality is not really happening. And then you're getting this, like, I mean, Teresa's or Thorn to kind of like boot. It's like knowing when you stop. So maybe you found something additional. Keep in mind that you guys are horn dogs, and looks like something entering this period. It might feel like love, but it could be sex, right? But this is definitely talking about suggesting boundaries, or maybe preserving this happiness, because it's saying this is kind of very volatile. All these cups that maybe were full up here are now getting emptied, right? It is kind of like warning, and maybe you're protecting yourself from people who are dishonest or who are actively working toward your downfall. You know, like when you're happy, and I think the last 2 weeks, like you were really literally sailing through it, and I was saying other people want to knock you down. Like, you know, it's that lobster effect. Have you ever seen lobsters in a bucket? You put the second one, and the first one wants to crawl out, and the second one is keeping the poor fellow down, and everybody stays in the bucket, so it's not really a difficult thing, right? This is timely warning. It is definitely talking about, do not take unnecessary risk. Do not go in a direction, because you already did go look for something else. I think this is definitely connecting to you, but you're not sure if you found it. But this is telling you, look, do not progress further for the time being. Stay where you are, because definitely I can see Taurus and Capricorn having a little bit of a warning in their reading. So this is what I have for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. It was kind of extended reading, so hopefully it's going to help. And join the school. It's going to give you a completely new look in tarot, as well as in your own basically understanding of life and situation. And it's amazing, basically, tool for spiritual guidance. So let's see. Oh, poor lobster. I know, kind of like, you know, and the lobsters kind of like are really also so loving toward each other, so that's so cute. So any questions, guys, for before I say goodbye to everybody? I'm going to Starbucks to pick up my decaf latte. Thank you, Creative Girl. It's really sweet of you. Thanks, my Turquoise, Palladian Tarot, and Cat Lady and Lady. Thank you guys so much for helping. And I guess next week there is a tarot reading for May coming up. So it's going to be really exciting because honestly I'm starting to feel so kind of like jittery. I almost like kind of want to jump on it and do it over the weekend. So we'll see how this works if I manage to squeeze it in. Thank you so much. I also wish everybody amazing rest of the weekend, and you know that I love you. Until the next time, guys, check me out on cattarot.ca. Love ya. That would be somewhere here to disconnect. Well, love you once more. Bye bye.